Good morning, boys and girls. It is Friday. I'm here at school in our classroom, and I miss you guys and wish you could be here with me this morning. I hope someday soon there will be a day when we won't have to keep missing school because of the virus, but we want to be extra safe and just make sure that we don't share germs. And I'm glad that we have a way for Miss Amy to record videos and you can still see me, and hopefully I can read to you and still teach you a few things. So this week we were finishing up letter H. So here's my big H. We have the capital H. Remember, it's a straight line down and a straight line down and then a line in the middle. And then the lowercase h is just a straight line down with a hump. And that H says, can you make that sound? Yeah. And we've been talking about H words. So today I was going to read our H poem. So I'm going to read it to you, and I want you to listen for some words that say like letter H says, okay? H begins hamburgers, hollies and hair, a house in the hills, and a hat that you wear, a hare in the huckleberries, hidden away, and Halloween night when the hobgoblins play. So there were lots of H words in there. There was hamburgers, there was the house in the hills. This was an H word, but it's not a rabbit or a bunny. There's another word for bunny or rabbit that's called hare. It's not spelled the same way as this kind of hare, but it's a hare, and there's the hare, and he's in the huckleberries. And this is a hobgoblin, which is some sort of Halloween monster. So there were lots of H words in that one. And hat. I'm going to talk about hats in just a few minutes. In fact, Miss Amy brought one. But first, today at Circle Time, we were going to start reading our story of Thanksgiving. And this is one that we will read several times over the next few weeks until we get to Thanksgiving. So Thanksgiving is that holiday that's coming up on our calendar in just about 2 weeks, actually 2 weeks from yesterday. And we've talked about at calendar time that it's the holiday when we have a big meal, maybe turkey and dressing and mashed potatoes, green beans. We've talked about all those things we like to eat. And we like to get together with our families and remember things that we are thankful for, that we can say thank you to God for giving us. So I'm going to read the story of Thanksgiving and why we celebrate it, how it started, and then we will talk about this more when we're at school together. Do you know why we have Thanksgiving Day? We have Thanksgiving Day because of two groups, the Pilgrims and the Native Americans, and sometimes we call those Indians. So we have Thanksgiving because the Pilgrims and the Indians. The Pilgrims lived in England. England is really far away. It's all the way across the ocean. If I had that big globe, we could point to North Carolina and then see the ocean, and it would be all the way across the ocean. So they lived in another country called England. And they had a king that would not let them have their own church. And they didn't like that. So they left England, they left their homes, and they wanted to come to a new land far away where they would be free to worship the way they wanted to. So here they are getting on a big, big boat. The Pilgrims crossed the ocean on a big boat or a ship that's called the Mayflower. Do you see the Mayflower? The wind blew and the ship rocked, and the Pilgrims prayed that it would not sink. They had bad storms some of the time, and this was not a little trip that just took a couple hours or a day or two. It probably took them several months on that big ship, and there were times that it rocked so bad they thought they might sink and drown, so they prayed and asked God to keep them safe. And after many months, the boat stopped at Plymouth, Massachusetts. Massachusetts is the state that's right above on our map, Rhode Island, that we talked about, that we sent our pen pal letters to. Massachusetts is right above it, and there's a place in Massachusetts called Plymouth, and that is where the Pilgrims stopped their boat. And they got out, and the first thing they did was they thanked God for keeping them safe, because he had brought them all the way across the ocean and given them safe travel. So the Pilgrims built their homes, but winter came and it was cold and the icy wind blew and snow fell and there was not much food to eat. You know, back in the Pilgrims' time, they didn't have Food Lion or Walmart or Harris Teeter that they could go to get groceries. There were no grocery stores. You had to grow your food or hunt your food. And they're new here and it's winter. There is not much to eat. But springtime came, you know, after winter it becomes spring and it gets warmer. The snow started melting and the Pilgrims built barns and they planted crops like wheat and beans. You see them planting there in the dirt? They planted potatoes and spinach. They were gonna have some food soon. One day, 3 Native Americans, do you see them? 1, 2, 3, or Indians, came to visit. One of them, named Squanto, stayed to help the Pilgrims. Squanto stayed and he was going to help them. I wonder what he's going to do. Squanto taught the Pilgrims how to hunt things like deer and bear and maybe birds like turkey, and how to go fishing. He gave them seeds and he showed them how to plant corn and pumpkins and squash. So he's teaching them how to plant new crops. The vegetables grew and the Pilgrims filled their barns with food. See all that food? They've got corn and pumpkins. They're going to fill it up and put it in their barns. For the next winter, they would have enough to eat. So the Pilgrims invited their Native American friends to a great feast. A feast is a big meal. They're going to all sit down and have a meal together. For 3 whole days, they ate turkey and fish, corn and beans, pumpkins and squash. This was a long feast. It lasted 3 days. So today on Thanksgiving, we eat a lot of those same things, turkey and corn and pumpkins, just like the Native American and the Pilgrims did. And just like them, they were thankful that God had brought them safely here, and they were thankful that the Indians had showed them how to plant food and they now had enough food. Just like them, we say, thank you, God, for our families, our food, and our homes. So that's kind of why we celebrate Thanksgiving. We want to be thankful for the things that God has given us. All right. Well, I told you a minute ago in our poem that we read that an H word was hat. So look what Miss Amy brought. This is a big hat, isn't it? Look how long it is. I brought this funny hat because I have a story about hats. This is called Harry's hat. Now, Harry is the little boy's name, so it is capitalized. Normally, we wouldn't capitalize the word hat, but since it's part of the title of the book, we always capitalize the title, so that's why it's capital. So we have 2 H words there, Harry's hats, and it looks like if you look at the cover, Harry has a lot of different hats, so we're going to read about them. All right, Harry's hats. On Monday, Harry wore his cowboy hat. How many of you have a cowboy hat that you like to wear? He had fun riding a horse in the mall. Look, it's one of those horses that you put quarters in and it bounces up and down. He's pretending to be a cowboy. On Tuesday, Harry wore his firefighter's hat. He looks kind of like firefighter Jason, doesn't he? He had fun spraying his fire hose and watering the grass and the flowers and the trees. Do you remember when firefighter Jason let us spray his fire hose? On Wednesday, Harry wore his chef's hat or his baker's hat. Who does he remind you of there? Does he remind you of Chef Combo? Chef Combo has a chef hat like that. Harry had fun on Wednesday making a cake. Look, he's baking a cake with his mom. He kind of looks to be a messy baker, doesn't he? On Thursday, Harry wore his farmer's hat. You see his straw farmer's hat? And he had fun pulling weeds and planting seeds. On Friday, Harry wore his tall hat. He had fun playing circus with his dog and his cat. Sometimes the ringmaster of a circus wears a big tall hat like that. On Saturday, Harry wore his artist hat. This is kind of the hat that Mallory has on her head. She has an artist hat. And Harry had fun painting a clown. An artist is someone that paints or draws pictures. On Sunday, Harry wore his baseball hat. He played ball with his father and his mother and his sister and his brother. That was the most fun of all. All right, the end. Harry had a lot of hats, didn't he? Miss Amy has a really funny hat somewhere at her house that's actually an umbrella, and that was the one I tried to bring, but I looked everywhere and I could not find it. There is no telling where it's at. All right, I have one more thing that I want us to do, boys and girls. If we were at school today, it's Friday, so we would do our Let's Find Out. And today, our Let's Find Out is about veterans. We've been talking about what a veteran is at calendar time. So this is called Sky High Veterans. You see this helicopter up here? Veterans are people who have served in the military. They help keep us safe. We talked about Cooper's daddy is a veteran, and he helps, all the veterans help keep us safe. Some of them help us from the sky, like this one in his helicopter. So let's open up our paper, and I know you don't have yours at home to follow along, so you will just have to look at Miss Amy's today, and we'll talk about help from a helicopter. And I want to tell you something kind of cool about this. We have two H words here. Help starts with an H, and helicopter starts with an H. Some of you brought helicopters for your share this week when we had share on Wednesday. So a person that drives a helicopter is called a pilot. So the pilots have to get in their special suit. They have to suit up. Everyone gets ready for action. Now, if we move over to the blue box, we see the pilot. He's in the helicopter, and he's going to take off into the sky. They fly high over the water. Uh-oh. So now we're on the yellow box, and it says, oh no, someone is down in the water. That person is hurt. What do you think this person right here is going to do? Think they're going to jump in and try to help? They do. They jump out of the helicopter and they go down, down, down to try to rescue the person in the water. All right, and then let's go to the green box. The basket, they pull this person that was hurt up in a basket. He is safe now. So the basket comes down on a string from the helicopter or on a cable, and they put the person in it, and then they're going to pull it back up. So these were people in the Coast Guard, which is a branch of our military. So the Coast Guard uses these helicopters to rescue down below. And the Coast Guard helps many people. How do you think it would feel to rescue someone? Do you think that might feel good if you got to rescue someone? I bet it does. And there's other branches of our military that do other things. We were just talking about the ones that fly in helicopters. So sometimes on Veterans Day, we have a Veterans Day celebration. We celebrate our veterans. We might have a parade or a picnic. We might do things like make cards for our veterans or even have fireworks. So here we have a little schedule or a little calendar that tells what we're going to do. At 10 o'clock, you see the 10 o'clock, there's going to be a parade. And we have a little picture for the parade. It's a little guy marching with his drum. Sometimes in a parade we have drums and instruments and bands. So at 10 o'clock there's going to be a parade. At 1 o'clock there's going to be a Veterans Day picnic. You see the hot dog there? That tells us we're going to eat. At 3 o'clock, see the 3 around a tree, that's the way to make a 3. We're going to make cards for our veterans, and there's a picture of a card. And then at 6 o'clock, there's going to be fireworks. So we have a picture of fireworks. So now we have some questions about our schedule. The first question says, what happens at 10 o'clock. So let's go back up to our schedule. Find 10 o'clock. Here it is. What's going to happen at 10? We're going to have a parade, and we have a picture of a marching boy in a parade. So we're going to circle that one. The parade's at 10. So next is what happens at 1 o'clock. Well, let's go back up to our schedule. 1 o'clock. See the hot dog? We're going to have a Veterans Day picnic. So which one am I going to circle, the card or the hot dog? I'm going to circle the hot dog. Good. All right, the next question says, what happens at 3 o'clock? So I got to go back up to my schedule. 3 o'clock, we're going to make cards for veterans. See the card? So am I going to circle the drummer or the card? Yes, I'm going to circle the card. And then we have another question. It says, bonus, when do the fireworks happen? Write the numbers. So the fireworks are right here. It's at 6 o'clock. So when we write a time, we write the hour, 6, and then o'clock is 2 zeros. So 6 o'clock. All right, good job. I know that's a little hard to follow along with when you don't have your paper with you, but I will give that to you when you get back to school. And I will hopefully see you at the middle of next week. But I hope that you all have a great weekend. I'll try to get back on and record you another video, maybe me reading a little bit longer story tomorrow or something. But I hope you have a great day and a great weekend, and I will see you soon, boys and girls. Bye.